If you've been told to relax your throat while singing and it still feels tight, this is why that advice doesn't work. Because throat tension isn't the problem. It's your breath. When the breath isn't fully supporting the onset, the throat steps in to compensate so you can make sound. And once you understand that system, you stop trying to relax it and start retraining what's causing it. Throat tension isn't the problem, it's the result. It's what happens when you don't understand or trust your breath. You can't relax your throat if it's the only way you know how to make sound. What it reminds me of is if you were learning how to play the drums for the first time or you had been self-taught. Somebody sees you playing and they try to give you the tip to relax your wrists, to play more technically correctly. But you don't even hold the sticks correctly. There's no point in learning how to relax your wrists if the foundational elements of the skill and technique aren't there. So that's essentially what it's like for someone to tell you to relax your throat when the breath coordination isn't even together. That foundational element is missing. And honestly, what does relaxing your throat even mean? Like, I'm asking you, what does relaxing your throat actually mean to you? Like, when you think relax your throat, like, how do you let go? What is letting go? What are you letting go of? I think a lot of times these things are not really explained well. So the idea is just, I'm going to try to relax my throat, meaning I'm going to try to not feel tension. But how do you not feel tension when the tension is how you've learned how to sing? What is taking that tension away while still being able to sing? So here's what's happening. You don't fully understand how to use your breath to create sound. So then the onset is unstable or unclear. So you hear that and now you don't trust the sound. So you start using muscles to try to control the sound. And the muscles you use are your throat muscles. So when you're using the throat muscles to create sound, that's where the tension comes in. Now your throat is stepping in because your breath didn't show up the way it needed to. And because a lot of singers don't truly understand how the breath works, they don't trust that it's enough, that just using good breath technique is going to allow your sound to be healthy, full, resonant, loud, whatever you need the sound to be. There's this idea that it can't just be the breath, we need other things. So then, because we don't trust the breath, we learn to trust effort. And that effort is more than likely tension. Healthy breath technique takes a lot of tension away, but also takes a lot of the feeling of effort away. The actual effort you then feel is from trying to coordinate the breath. It's the intellectual effort of doing everything correctly, but the physical effort goes away. In fact, if you're using the breath correctly, singing should feel almost like nothing. It should feel like exhaling. But if you get used to understanding that the way you make sound is through effort, through tension, through that kind of control, then you don't trust the breath because you can't feel it the way you're used to feeling your sound. So here are some symptoms or what you're probably experiencing when you're muscling the sound. Tightness right at the start of a note or when you just begin to sing. Pushing or forcing for control. Throat soreness or fatigue after singing, or even feeling like you're trying to hang on to the note for dear life. Like doing everything in your power to hang on to get to the end of the note or to sustain the sound. Now you're even pulling in muscles that were never a part of producing sound, never meant to be a part of singing. The goal isn't to relax your throat. The goal is to create sound with your breath so your throat doesn't have to compensate. Which is awesome because now the goal is relaxation. It legitimately is use your breath and relax into the sound as opposed to relaxing your throat. Whatever that means. Now, instead of singing feeling tight and controlled and held and effortful, singing will feel legitimately like exhaling on pitch. Now, the unfortunate thing is, if this is something you've been doing for years, it's not always as simple as understanding it and fixing it. Because now you've essentially taught your body that this is how we produce sound. This is what we do to sing. So your throat is no longer reacting to that lack of breath coordination or the lack of breath period. It's now trained to be a part of your singing. And I've been through this myself. When I went through my whole vocal trauma, and feel free to watch my video about my vocal injury, trauma, and surgery that I went through, when I recovered, when I'd gone through the surgery, healed, and everything like that, I was still holding on to really bad habits of tension that I'd had before I had the surgery. Because my body had compensated for months and months with my damaged folds to use a lot of extra muscles to create sound, because breath wasn't enough because my vocal folds were a mess. Now, after months and months of effort to create sound that my body had gotten very used to, once I had the surgery and I was healed and better, I was still using all these muscles to create sound. So I had to unlearn the way I sang because my voice was now healthy. The folds vibrated very easily. The breath was ready, but my throat muscles were so used to being involved that they automatically joined the chorus whenever I started singing. That took time to unlearn the trained habit of using my muscles to create sound and truly relying on and trusting the breath. In essence, those bad habits are learned survival strategies, especially in situations like post-injury, like in my situation after a hemorrhage and a surgery, or just long-term poor technique because you never learned otherwise or no one ever corrected you, or even simply singing in loud environments consistently. For instance, if you're a gigging singer, all that is to say, your body has adapted to making sound under less than ideal conditions. So especially now, it's reassigning the job back to the correct systems while deconditioning the overachievers. And that's not always something you can catch on your own. Actually, it's rarely something you can catch on your own because to you it's become normal. To you it feels like the status quo. And this is where having a voice teacher or even a vocal therapist really helps, because we can see and hear what you can't yet. If this is deeply ingrained for you, having guidance can make this process so much faster and a lot safer. Because again, we're not trying to force your throat to relax. We're retraining your voice to trust your breath again. Or for the first time. And if this is the first time this has actually made sense to you, but you're not sure how to now apply it to your own voice, this is exactly what we work through in our sessions together. And if you want to work specifically with me, check out my voice blueprint session. The details are in the description below. Also, if this video was helpful to you, I would love a like. And please head on back for more real and clear answers to your voice questions. It's pretty awesome over here, if I may say so. Alrighty, thank you so much for swinging by and coming by and seeing me in my new setup for a moment. It's a temporary setup, but I mean, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, right? It's kind of adorable. But thank you for coming by. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. And please don't forget to subscribe so that you can keep up with my new videos as I continue to post them. I'm going to be posting far more. Yay! And I'm doing lives, so check out my community post to find out when my next live is. And again, thank you so much and happy singing, everyone! Relax your people. Relax your throat doesn't mean anything without the breath. Because how can you relax something that you use? Why are all the birds out? And it sounds like the rainforest out here. Where are all these kinds of... I've never heard these birds here before. So with that, you actually end up pulling in muscles? Yeah.